Hello, everyone. It was a brutal day, and I am exhausted. So, I'm gonna piss and moan a little bit. What you see before you, this is my Saberforge thin neck ASP. I named it the Adjudicator, as maybe you've seen my review previously. It has a veteran soundboard, which comes with 3 standard fonts, Viridian, yada yada yada. And if I remove the kill key,
Saberforge, Viridian.
what happens? It turns on. And it works. Turn it off.
Main menu. Select optical frequency 1.
All that stuff. It works. Wonderful. On to champion tier. This is my Saberforge Redeemer. It's fully charged. So that's the champion tier in a nutshell for me. I had this saber. I mean, granted, I bought it used off of eBay. It was, someone owned it, and it was pretty much a shelf queen, and they never used it. And so I had it about 2 weeks, and then it died. And I thought that maybe something may have come loose inside, so I decided to root around in there. You remove the end cap, which is this tiny little piece right here of the pommel, but you can't get the chassis out. So I thought maybe you have to remove the cover tech wheel. Maybe it's like a Saber Trio. You have to remove the cover tech wheel to gain access to the chassis, so you can remove it. But I could only get the chassis to about here, not even halfway, and it just wouldn't move any further than that. So rather than completely destroy the thing, I opted to just skip it. Nothing comes apart. Everything's either glued in place or so securely fastened that you can't get anything undone. So this remains broken, and it's such a shame because I really, really, truly love this saber. I mean, it's kind of like holding a metal pine cone, or like just it's very, very uncomfortable and sharp points, and it's jabby, and I mean, that's what you're gonna get from a saber that's based off of a movie replica. I mean, that's just the nature of it. Like, you're gonna hear every single reviewer say that they're meant to look good on screen, but as far as being functional, not so much. But still, it's a wonderful piece. I love the saber, but it's dead, and that's kind of frustrating. I tried to send it into Saberforge to get it repaired, and their website was non-functional, and they were unresponsive to my inquiries, which is incredibly frustrating. I don't have a regular person that does installs or could do repairs for me. I live on the West Coast, and or not West Coast. What am I talking about? Oh, I'm so tired. I live on the East Coast. Yes, the East Coast, the complete opposite of what I just said, in Western Massachusetts. And I really don't know if there's anybody in this wasteland to offer any kind of services that I could use. Okay, that being said, I thought that it would be nifty to utilize one of Saberforge's sales and just purchase a brand new Redeemer, but you can't get just the plain old version anymore. You gotta get the chrome version, or you gotta get the weathered version, which I think looks weird with the whole chrome thing. And I just want a basic version, and you can only buy that used, and that's really, really extremely difficult to come by. I've been shopping and shopping and shopping and looking and looking, and it's just, you can't find one. So bitch, 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 bitch. It's a really frustrating situation to be in, to have essentially very expensive paperweight. And what are you going to do about it? In the meantime, I have this one, and it feels about the same. The problem is that if you try to hold a thin neck saber by the neck, the thin the what one would think would be a natural choke point, it's just not very comfortable at all. And it's heavy. It's really, really heavy because it's an elite saber, so it's not quite as comfortable as, say, using an apprentice size saber. So, with all the stuff that I just bitched about, essentially, I've been ordering apprentice size sabers, and I've been getting the veteran soundboard because I have one with a veteran, and
Saberforge, Viridian.
it works. So, once bitten, twice shy. And obviously, apprentice size sabers are much more comfortable in the hand, and it's just it's a pleasant experience. Um, so that pretty much ends my Saberforge rant. So the other thing is, the addendum to this whole discussion is I've been seeing a lot of people on different forums and different pages on Facebook complaining about their various and sundry, sabers, the electronics failing. So I think generally speaking, that's just sort of, that's a lot of that is predicated on perhaps what people are doing with the sabers. But for me, I wasn't dueling with this thing. I was just turning it on, turning it off, keeping it charged, enjoying it until I wasn't enjoying it anymore. That's something that was completely out of my control. Um, so be aware of that. Saberforge, their electronics, a little bit inconsistent. But that being said, I still love their stuff, and I will continue to buy their stuff because I have no control over any of my inclinations. Um, yeah, that ends the Saberforge discussion. Now, one last rant. The Patch Store. I don't know what their issue is. I have a saber that I ordered, my Kishi, and it has a 3 to 5 day lead time, not including shipping. And I'm into the 4th week, and they had a holiday season in China, which lasted 8 days, and I can't get any kind of response from them other than excuses about the holidays. They refuse to give me customer service, tell me what the status of my order is. Now, that being said, I do not mind waiting for a saber to arrive. I have 4 sabers coming from Saberforge. And Saberforge takes anywhere between several weeks to maybe 2 to 3 months. This I'm aware of. And I'm not unwilling to wait for a quality saber. But when you inquire with a company and want to know what the status is, and they offer you nothing, and then they give you an excuse, and they offer you nothing, and they give you an excuse, and they offer you nothing, and then it's dead silent, and you have to keep cajoling them. This is not good. This is the epitome of horrible customer service. And I'm extremely frustrated with the Patch Store right now. And I'm going to do a review of that saber if it ever arrives. But I'm not going to be kind to them for their customer service, regardless of the quality of the saber. As I said, if it ever arrives. So that's where I'm at with those guys right now. Now, Saber Trio, I emailed them several questions. I received distinct, accurate, thoughtful responses within 5 minutes, followed by a conversation with them. and they're exemplary. So maybe there's something to be said for ordering from a company from Malaysia as opposed to China. I don't know. So I had a hell of a day. So I apologize if this video is not entirely the most pleasant thing that you've ever heard or seen. At any rate, I think I'm going to leave it at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my visual tour of my dead saber. And forgive me for being bitter. This is really, really just a very... The Redeemer is so beautiful. It's so just well made, other than the fact that everything inside it is garbage. Oh, I almost forgot the most important thing. Before this thing died, as you can see, if you pull this thing off, it has a magnet attached to it. And I had to use tape to kind of allow the thing, when you try to turn on, there's this little, I forget what they call this type of switch. There's little tiny, toonsy little switches. And the magnet sticks to this part where the recharge port is. You can hear it click into place. And you would do this. It does this, so it's not completely dead. I lied. But the whole thing's just like fucking fragged. So I tried to replace this thing with a new one. And it was only $4 off of the Saberforge site. And I received it in pretty quickly. But it didn't fit. It was too wide. It didn't fit into the little grooves here. So that's another gripe, because I had no idea. I mean, didn't come with any instructions. It was a complete different layout. Why it turned on again, I don't know. It was just a completely different piece of machinery, and I don't know. It was just like, would have been nice to know. Damn. Anyway, bitch. Sorry for the expletives. I try to keep this clean, but I'm in a bit of a mood right now. So, at any rate, I'm going to go away now and let everyone continue with their evenings, what's left of them. And hoping to close out this week with some new acquisitions tomorrow. If the post office and FedEx can manage to do their jobs and deliver what I need, what I want. I had a delivery that was supposed to arrive today. It did not. The post office said it was. But they're not always the most reliable. Yeah, I'm going to shut up now. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good evening. And I hope to see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.